While it may look like I am in the middle of the Garden of Eden, and I have to tell you, it kind of reminds me a little bit of it, I'm actually in Lava Hot Springs, right?
Correct. Lava Hot Springs.
We're going to take you on an adventure today to this little oasis tucked away just outside of Pocatello, Idaho on Love Where You Live TV.
That's the reason the town of Lava Hot Springs is here, is the hot water. I mean, it's in our name, it is in our soul.
We get a hands-on experience on how to make horse tack at Diamond A Cowboy in Elgin, Oregon.
And the first thing that you do is you just basically draw your first line.
Oh gosh, I can't draw a line that straight. And we visit Aaron of Horsewoods Restaurant, who built the restaurant and all the recipes in honor of his grandma.
But I told her, I said, Grandma, someday we will give you this restaurant. Someday your name will be on it. And someday we will cook on your behalf. And that is what we've done.
So I'm here with Mark Lowe, and Mark, what's the right title for you?
I'm the executive director of Lava Hot Springs Foundation.
So in other words, you're the trash guy, you're the cleanup guy.
I get to do everything.
You get to do it all. Everything. How central to Lava Hot Springs is the Hot Springs Resort itself?
That's the reason the town of Lava Hot Springs is here, is the hot water. I mean, it's in our name, it is in our soul, it's why we're here.
The thing you notice when you come into town too, as you come up East Main Street, you can tell how many of the little businesses here are dedicated to this. I mean, there's tube rental places, there's boat rental places, there's all sorts of things like that. Because I understand you have a pretty amazing river to float here.
We do have an amazing river to float. It was recently selected as the best tubing river in the United States, not just Idaho.
The whole country.
The whole country.
What makes it so great? Like, why did it receive that rating?
It's voted on, it's a popular vote. So we have a lot of dedicated fans, folks that come up and tube that river.
Right. You know, a short float on this river and you start to understand right away why it got voted so well. I mean, from where I'm from in the Boise area, I love floating the Boise River. But this one little stretch of river takes less than an hour to float, and literally in that time, you get a little bit of everything. It's amazing.
It's a short ride, but it's an exciting ride.
When you say fun and exciting, Mark, I have to tell you what I hear is, I'm gonna lose my shoes. Is that pretty accurate?
Like, if it's just your shoes, you'll be all right.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
You know, I'll point out these rocks that you're standing next to, they're actually formed in the river. They're algal remnant reefs. This is what the river bottom looks like. It's not nice, smooth, rolled river rock. No. It's this. When you fall off your tube, you get what we affectionately call river rash.
Let me just tell you, river rash is an understatement. Now, fortunately for Michael, my producer, and I, we did not fall off. But you see this all throughout the river. And I'm telling you, leaving your shoes behind, the least of your worries. Leaving half your skin behind, that's what you should be worried about. So if you float this river, it's amazing, but don't fall out. So how did Lava Hot Springs, the resort, come to be? Like right behind us, and we'll show you kind of down below Mark here, is the main pool, right? That's kind of where it comes. Does it leach up out of the ground? How does that work?
These pools are built right on the springs themselves.
Okay.
The springs are coming up directly into the pools, flows out to the Port-Neuf River naturally as it has for millennia. The Native Americans, pre-Columbian times, were using these hot springs. Then in 1902, the ground we're standing on now is actually part of the Fort Hall Indian Reservation. The Indian Reservation was realigned in 1902. The federal government bought all the ground between here and its current boundaries and opened it up to homesteading. Except for this 178 acres here, they deeded to the state of Idaho for public use. And that is our charter, is to maintain the properties and the grounds and the pools themselves for public use.
And thus we have Lava Hot Springs.
So we have Lava Hot Springs.
Which is more than just a pool too, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, we've got the parks, we've got this lovely botanical garden here.
They do an amazing job of this, by the way. In fact, about a week after we filmed this, I took my wife back to Lava just so she could see everything. And she loved the botanical gardens about more than anything else. It's a very calming, relaxing, and romantic place. So if you go to Lava, make sure you check it out. But you have more than just this. Like this is kind of your base of operations. But what else is somebody going to find when they come here? What can they do?
They're going to find a 50-meter Olympic swimming complex, 10-meter diving platforms available to the public. And it's one of the few places in the country where you can walk in, you know, pay your entry fee, go up and jump off of a 10-meter diving platform.
Which is what, about 30 feet plus or minus?
32 plus.
Whew, okay.
Which is nice. You're going about 35 miles an hour when you hit the water.
Oh, wow. All right. The irony here, by the way, is that also in Lava Hot Springs is the high jump that we did when we were filming this. 65 foot above the ground. I had no problem with that, but I was attached to a rope. For some reason, the idea of jumping off a 30 some odd foot platform and hitting the water at 35 miles an hour, I'm a bigger guy. I don't know which would hurt more, the sound I would make or my bones.
But in addition to that, there's also 60-foot high speed slides, 30-foot high curly slides. There's an indoor facility with springboards, spring diving boards, 1 and 3 meter springboards, an indoor climbing wall, and then a kiddie cove, zero depth pool with a dumping bucket and something for the very small children. And it's great that it is indoors so that it is available all year long. Which we've never had before. We opened that up 5 or 6 years ago. But also for the real small kids, it gets them out of the sunshine so you're not burning up that sensitive skin.
I gotta tell you, when you come here, you cannot miss the fact that you have slides. Because when you enter the town of Lava Hot Springs, you really, I mean, I'm sure you guys know back roads, but for us touristy people, you come in through this great big archway that is one of the slides.
That is one of the slides. The company that built those slides for us, Whitewater West out of Vancouver, British Columbia, have built pools around the world, slides, Beijing, Singapore, everywhere, big, huge ones. This is the only one that they've ever done that a public road actually goes underneath them.
It's really cool.
And it's unique.
I gotta say, this is the only place I've been in Idaho where you feel like you're going into Disneyland. There's something about driving into a town that has a great massive sign that greets you that has water slides built in. It's kind of like a little local Disney World vibe.
I always maintain if you come to Lava and leave here not waterlogged, it's not our fault.
You haven't done
your job. You didn't try.
You're doing it wrong.
Yep, exactly.
Well, thank you so much for having us, Mark. Thank you for telling us a little bit more about Lava Hot Springs.
Glad you guys could make it out.
We can't wait to adventure here a little bit. It's gonna be a lot of fun. If you're from the Treasure Valley and someone tells you to check out a restaurant in Caldwell, Idaho, you might have varying expectations. But at Horsewood's Kitchen, Aaron and his high school sweetheart moved back home from cooking all over the country under some of the world's best chefs to come to Caldwell and open a restaurant that's all about local resources and private, secret, amazing family recipes.
We're in farmland. We're in a rural community where there is wine vineyards, there is cattle, there is local vegetables, you name it, we've got it. It's here. And you use it in your food. And we use it in our food.
It's an interesting part of what I call the rebirth of downtown Caldwell. There is a reinvestment in local sourcing. Horsewoods is one of the leaders in this. And it's a really cool thing. I mean, if you think about it, Caldwell and areas like this all over Idaho are ag towns, agricultural towns. It only makes sense to get your produce and your food and your meats from local vendors. And that's what Horsewoods is all about. There is a woman who is very prominent in this restaurant. If you come to visit, you cannot miss the lovely lady that's on the wall in the bar area. There's also a picture of her as you get ready to exit the restaurant. I understand she has some significance to you guys.
This is my grandmother. Her dream was to build a restaurant in the States. She was unfortunate she was not able to live long enough to see that come to true. But I told her, I said, Grandmother, someday we will give you this restaurant. Someday your name will be on there. And someday we will cook on your behalf. And that is what we've done. You know, this brings a smile to my face because I think about the influence my own grandma had on me. I didn't get to be around her very long. Before she passed away, I was a little boy, like 6 or 7. But my warmest memories of my grandmother in the kitchen, cooking up some of my favorites. And so she's essential as far as the spirit, and then her presence is felt here constantly. She's the inspiration. She's the inspiration. She's the one that showed you here's how to put your heart into it. And that's interesting because you mentioned you weren't classically trained per se as a chef. In other words, instead of going to a school per se, you've done training under other chefs, including your grandmother. Absolutely, right? Absolutely. And how has that impacted how you cook? It's been amazing because you get the soul of the chef. See, the soul of the chef's different than the chef. When you have the soul present, the soul is where the love's at. The soul is where all that energy gets forced into food. See, if you don't love food and you don't tell it you love it, then it won't be loved when it hits the table.
I mean, I'm really excited too because he's agreed to take me back in the kitchen and show me how to make one of your signature appetizers. Your it's a chicken taco, seared chicken Thai taco. I'm so excited to do that. So we're gonna do that coming up next on Love Where You Live. Welcome back to Love Where You Live. I'm Travis Culver, and we are here in Caldwell at Horsewoods. Now, you may not know that name. That is this gentleman's last name. You might know his food though, because this guy has catered all over the Treasure Valley. Aaron, thank you for having us today, man. Yeah. Your Thai chicken tacos are the best tacos I've ever had anywhere. And I don't know if I've been around the world as much as you, but I have been all over this country, and I've never had tacos better than yours. So I am so excited to see how you make these.
Well, great. Awesome. So the tortillas we use are a gluten-free tortilla. Okay. My grandma was a true believer in tradition. The tradition is, this is a little bacon fat.
Okay, okay.
A lot of people use lard. I like the bacon fat, gives a little smoky flavor to the tortilla.
And that's how you get the tortilla to get that
coloring.
I wonder, that's a trick you're pulling.
Good authentic regional food. We try to stay as honest as we can.
Yeah. One of the things about Horsewoods I think you'll appreciate the most if you check it out is this very thing right here. They nail it every time. And they have quite a bit of variety in their food, from their tacos to their tater tot casserole that comes out in a bowl the size of a 3-year-old. I mean, it's amazing. But everything, it's like they inject the soul food of the history of that dish into everything they do.
I start by grilling those guys off.
Okay.
We'll get a hot pan. So I'm gonna pull this guy off, get it off, because she's ready to go. We're gonna set it over here.
And this is how you sear it, huh?
That's how you sear it. We're gonna give it a good splash of a good old Jose Cuervo.
Jose Cuervo. Woo! Yeah, buddy.
The Cuervo does one or two things. A, it does add flavor. B, it also as well deglazes the pan, takes all the seasonings from it, brings it all back out.
Really?
So then how we build them, and what you guys get to see on the back end, we'll take our tortilla shell, take our chicken, all of our goodness.
Oh, so good.
So then the final applications. On top of the onions feature, I'm going to put a little bit more on fresh. We do that first, because I want that crisp. I'm going to put a little bit of this sriracha.
The other magic
sauce.
Yeah,
this is the spicy, because all these elements are really sweet, right? And then we add that spicy to it.
Cuts it.
I'm not sure about you, but spicy food and I do not get along really well. But that's what's kind of amazing about these tacos, is that there's just like the right balance of sweet and spicy, and it all blends together really nicely. And it doesn't taste hot, it tastes just right.
And then we'll take a pinch of the kimchi. There. And of course, you got to make them pretty.
Oh yeah.
This is a chive.
A chive.
This comes out of a local farm called Vanessa's Farms, and she does all of our little fine little flowers and little herbs and things like that.
There you go. That's the finished product.
And this finished product, that gal's hard work.
Gotta have the flour on there. Gotta have the flour on there.
She did the final touch for us by her hard work.
Even look at the sauce, just kind of settling in down there. That sauce. That sauce
this is a 4-napkin taco.
It sure is.
Which is okay.
It sure is.
If you don't get it on your face, then you're in the wrong place.
Now this is one. That's the thing. This is one, dude.
That's one.
This is one taco.
Yeah. And how can you eat one?
I can't. I can't. This is one of several. I'm telling you right now. Oh my goodness. Just as good as every other time. You got to come here, get like 2 or 3 of these as an appetizer, and then dive into one of his burgers. You will not regret it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us here. Thank you for having us in your kitchen.
Absolutely.
I know you are mixing up a whole lot of other stuff. He's about ready to get lunch started, so we're going to let him work his magic. If you want to know any more about Aaron and Jesse and their family-run restaurant, I mean, literally, the kids are running around helping right now, or their catering, just go to lovewhereyoulivetv.com. Up next, we take a trip to Elgin, Oregon, and visit the woman responsible for one of the most famous outfits in Bronco Nation. We're going to visit Amanda at Diamond A Cowboy, where she teaches me how she makes some of her famous horse tack. Welcome back to Love Where You Live. I'm Travis Culver, here with Amanda, and we are at Diamond A Cowboy.
Yes.
Which, we're laughing because I was talking with Amanda just briefly about why she named it Diamond A. And just recap for me what you said.
It's more of an evolution because I'm not quite sure where the name officially came from.
So evolution is code for she doesn't know why she named her company. But the A you did because of, like, the branding thing, branding cattle and whatever?
Well, yeah, most Western heritage has a brand.
Sure,
so
sure.
a lot of them will have diamonds, arrows.
So that's where it came from, see?
So,
we
yeah.
solved this problem together. You did the A and the diamonds.
Thank you, yeah.
There you go. And this is what you do. Like, we have a,
Yes.
I am beyond ignorant with this stuff. Like, I'm going to ask you a question that people watching this show are going to roll their eyes about because they're watching this show in Idaho and Oregon, and I am so sorry. What does it mean when you say you're a tack shop?
Tack shop. So tack is tools that you use on horses.
Okay.
It can be a number of things. It can be the headstalls that you use to attach the bit.
Now, when you say head stalls, is that what, like, us common folks would call a bridle, or is that
Yeah.
different?
So once you add the bit and the reins to it, then it becomes a bridle. But when it's by itself, then it's just a headstall.
Think about this like driving a car. I mean, how many times have you driven a car and not really known what all the pieces were that were making your car go, right? Same thing. Like for me, I've ridden horses several times. I had no idea what this stuff was. I just knew if I pulled on it, the horse stopped or tried to kick me off, and if I bumped its sides, it took off. So it's kind of fascinating to learn all the little pieces that made this whole thing work.
And you made this?
Yes, all by hand.
How much time? By hand? Mm-hmm. Well, how much time went into this?
There's hours into each piece.
Wow, hours, like we're talking 8-hour day, couple 8-hour days?
Oh, well, I
Half a
suppose
day?
into each piece it's different. The ones with like this, with just the leather overlaid are a little less, but when you get into the hand-tooled ones, then you're gonna have more time because every piece is tooled by hand.
One of the first things we noticed when we arrived at Diamond A was that this little tiny shop in Little Elgin, Oregon was shipping their stuff that day all around the world. They had a giant box that was going to Australia. We realized really quickly why that was. This kind of attention to detail that she puts into stuff is why she's so successful.
Now, you made something, I understand, for one of our Bronco girls
I
at Boise State. You
did.
made the chaps, right?
I did the shaps a couple years ago.
Is that how they're pronounced, shaps? You're calling them shaps.
Yes, I say shaps.
Is that the right pronunciation? I don't know.
Well,
I believe you. I'm going to say yes, because she's the pro. What do I know? I don't even know what tack is. So, shaps. Okay.
Yes.
You made the shaps
Yes.
for the Bronco girl. How long did those take?
Those took a long time. When
Because
you
we're talking about the
consider-
blue and orange full-blown deal, right?
Yep, with all the colors of fringe on there, and there was the
Yeah.
Bronco head that was hand cut
Right.
out, and all the letters.
How
and
long does
those
it take
were-
to dye that?
So now, when you buy the leather, you can buy it in all sorts of colors.
Oh, okay, okay.
So the leather will come pre-tanned,
Oh, okay.
but it's the tooling on that was
Right.
hand done,
Right.
and the crystals were hand set.
Crystals.
So, yes,
of course
there's
the Bronco girl
crystals.
has a crystal. Why wouldn't she have a crystal?
You know, most cowgirls, right?
See, there's where they, never mind. So how long did that one take you, do you think?
Those were days. That was
Days.
that was a number of days outfit.
And then you make purses too.
These are our rodeo purses. So these are really fun because they're crossbody or over the shoulder.
So did
So this is our style.
the outside here, is this something you did by hand?
No, this is actually really cool. This is, like I said, it'll come in all ways of being tan. So you
Oh,
get
so
different
okay.
colors. And this is actually a huge stamp that's pressed on there.
I want to know if you will take me back in your little, what do I want to call it, your little shop of, not horrors
Yeah.
really, your little shop
Hopefully
of,
not
of
horrors.
leathers back there, and show me how you make some. I don't know if maybe we can make something Boise State-ish, we don't have to.
Yeah.
But I just want to know if maybe you can like show me how you make,
Of course.
I don't know, I don't care if it's like a bracelet or whatever, just show me how you do what you do.
Perfect. Let's do it.
That'd be awesome. Welcome back to Love Where You Live. We are here in Elgin, Oregon, and we are at Diamond A Cowboy.
Yes.
Which is this awesome tack shop. I now know what tack is, by the way, sort of. And Amanda is the owner. She's holding in her hand a headstall.
Yeah.
I've learned. Okay, so a headstall, which is kind of the assembly you put on a horse to, well, in part to control the horse. It's missing the bit and things like that. But she a little bit too willingly agreed to bring me back here and show me how you do this amazing work. So what are we going to do today?
So we're going to play around with the cheek piece, which is this part.
Okay, I'm not supposed to make it look like that, right?
We're going to try to.
Oh, well, you're going to start is what you're going to do, because otherwise this is not going to look anything like that.
So we have our piece that's cut out here.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing that you do is you just basically draw your first line.
Oh, gosh, I can't draw a line that straight.
Yeah.
You and I talked about this. I can't draw a straight line to save my life.
Is see, it's got the little cheater tool on
Oh,
there.
so you're writing along the edge? Is that what's going on?
This is what separates a pro from a schmo. Okay, I can't keep a straight line if my life depended on it. But this girl has like surgeon's hands. It's amazing how just all the experience and time that she's taken, she makes these beautiful works of art for horses. Of course, people that own horses, they take them personally. They're part of their family, right? Why wouldn't you want the best for your family? And then do you just go right next to it then, or how do you decide how much space
so
you do?
you just mark it right next to it.
Okay.
On top of that line.
I'm watching.
And right next to it.
And how do you know how hard to hit it?
Well, normally you can kind of zip right along here. And it's just the same each time.
So how did you learn to do this, Amanda?
Honestly, I just started doing it.
Not yesterday.
No,
Oh, okay,
obviously
good.
not.
I was like,
But,
you
yeah.
said you just started doing. I'm like, well, you need to really vet who we visit, Michael.
No, I made lots of mistakes.
Yeah, that seems to be a characteristic of a lot of the folks we're meeting. They're either self-taught, not that they didn't go to school, but they went to the school of life. You know, and it's an amazing thing to see someone's passion put into action. Seems like we could learn something from that. So about like that?
Yeah.
Okay, and then a couple taps.
Yep.
And when this is all said and done, this is gonna look something like one of these.
Yep.
Oh, that's that same, okay, you're using the
Yeah.
same tool. I didn't even notice that. And that's what it looks like when it's all done. It's beautiful. That's awesome. Well, thank you, Amanda, so much
you.
for showing us through Diamond A Cowboy
Yes.
in Elgin, Oregon. That's all we got for you this time on Love Where You Live. But if you want to know more about the destinations you saw featured, or maybe you want to recommend one you think we should check out, you can also pick up your Love Where You Live gear all in one place. That's lovewhereyoulivetv.com, and we'll see you next time.